Okay, welcome. This is Andy Lee Graham, and I'm in San Pedro La Laguna, Lake Atalan, Guatemala. Oops. And I'm trying to get this nice painting in the background. It's kind of having a sun day, so the sun is making some white spots on the camera. Okay, today I'm going to talk about research tools. And what I've been doing for 25 years, almost 26 years, is uh, it's not been research, okay, but in a way, it's been study the whole time. And I think I was talking with Wade Shepard of Vagabond Journey the other day, and I truly believe that the only way you can be a perpetual traveler, a nonstop world traveler, is if you have just endless curiosity. Um, you have you're a perpetual learner. Okay, if you just love to learn, then you can travel. If you don't love to learn, then travel is pretty horrible. Okay, and I don't think very many people can actually emotionally. To me, the difficult thing about traveling perpetually and going to like 100 plus countries, it's an emotional battle. Okay, but today I'm going to talk about research tools because a lot of people are talking about digital nomads. And digital nomads, to me, first of all, they're not nomadic, okay? They don't go anywhere and everywhere they want to go. They actually go for almost the exact same thing. Somebody was talking about there's a digital nomad tax benefit for going to this country, blah, blah, blah. And I go, well, why would I go anywhere where I was forced to go for a tax benefit? I go to countries because I nomadically want to be there. Okay, but a lot of you want to be remote workers, location independent, digital nomads. I don't know what you want to call it, but a lot of you want the freedom to earn money from the very overdeveloped countries and spend them in the 200 normal countries. And that's what I've been doing for 25 years in 114 countries. Okay, so research tools. This came up. It's kind of complicated, and I'll get to it why this became a topic for me. Um, but I know a lot of you would like to stop being tied to a desk or an office, and you're working, and maybe all your filing system is connected to the book, the books in your shelves, the desktop computer, and all these different things. And I have kind of all the same things, but I'm going to talk about the tools that I call hard tools. Okay, and hard tools is something like a briefcase. Okay, but a lot of you would like to cut loose and be able to roam around the planet. Um, Most of you have such heavy duty anchors like a house, a mortgage, a dog. A dog's probably the worst possible anchor, other than children. Okay, but children you can actually take a lot. You can take children with you 10 times easier than you can take a dog. But I can do research anywhere on the planet, absolutely anywhere. And it just gets easier all the time. It's what I carry with me, what I buy and pack and carry as gear. So what I'm talking about today is what I carry with me and what I buy, pack, and carry as gear. I call it gear, but it's really oftentimes it's it's one step away from being a very complicated briefcase. Okay, I got to shut off the internet on my phone, otherwise somebody's going to probably try to call me on WhatsApp. Right, make a bunch of noise. Okay, but I can actually if it would be zero problem for me to carry 5 large bags. Absolutely no problem at all. I was going to carry a wash machine with me around Togo, West Africa, because I'd really like to carry a wash machine. One of these little round ones that high spin. That's a lovely thing to have in Africa. Here, it's pretty easy to do. But I can carry, I have no desire to go light because that just means I don't have what I really want. Okay. But for the first probably 10 years of my travels, I carried two full-size backpacks, one in the front, one in the back, and I had my day bag stuffed in the front one. And I had the proper amount of gears to be to live independently. What stops 99% of you from being a world traveler is you're not self-entertaining, okay? When I say self-entertaining, my mother was, when she came down here to Lake Athlon, this is one of the ideal climates on the planet. My mother spent 3 months down here. She wanted to avoid being in the United States when my father died, so I brought her to Guatemala because she requested it. Okay, so she had a great time, but my mom's self-entertaining. She reads books. I'm self-entertaining because I read books. I like to go walking and understand the world, and I watch movies. I now watch a lot of TV shows, but to be 99% of you are in, when you travel and you're by yourself, you're in solitary confinement and you don't know what to do, okay? And you don't have that ability to go buy stuff like you did in the United States, because that's like a hobby in the United States, buying stuff and doing maintenance on your house. And without that maintenance on your house and buying stuff, what are you going to do? Go get drunk. And that is the hobby of most foreigners. Drinking, partying, and then they have to go home because it's just out of control. But really, the reason why they're not doing it is because they're not self-entertaining, and they have addiction problems. And they can't stop being on endless vacation. The minute, it's like people that get 2 days off. If they had 3 days off instead of 2 weekends, they get in more trouble. Okay, work keeps people from getting in trouble. Okay, books, movies, drunks, and drugs. Okay, but a lot of people are just wimps. Okay, they can't emotionally handle things. You have to be, and I'll say this over and over and over, when you get to the end of the world, there's emotional dragons that we got to deal with. But what do? I, Andy Graham, run a nomad research center. And I didn't know it until I was writing this stuff there. What I have is everything I need to do research. And this is important to me because I was laughing. One thing I'm not carrying right now is a microscope. I used to have this digital microscope. I bought it $25, I think. Put it on the side of your computer. I wanted to show these little dinky bugs that you can't see. And I was showing them on my thing. But I have a nomad research center. And that means I can go anywhere I want and do research. And I've been doing this for 25 years and it's become very sophisticated, right? I feel the need for speed. I'm going to put this link in the description. I put it in the description on the live. I have a need for speed. That means I want to suck out information as fast as I can. The video for Maverick saying this is in the movie Top Gun. Maverick says, ICE is, razzing him about getting another kill. And he goes, I have a need for speed. And that's what a nomad mobile research center is. We have to do it very quickly, very concise, very thing. Tim Ferriss, when he wrote the 4-Hour Work Week, he had gone to Europe and he lived in hostels, and he realized that he could be 10 times more efficient than he was. But how do you become more efficient is right now I realize that one of the biggest problems, I have to avoid the idiot time black holes. There's people that are asking such stupid questions that they, as more expertise I have, I'm sucked up in listening to people tell me about all their silly stories. I have to go to Africa where we don't have so many foreigners, okay? But I am very ignorant on a lot of things in the United States, and I'm going to bring this out. I do a lot of research, but I have a lot of, the problem with having a nomad research center anywhere on the planet where you can do it. I'm going to show you all the tools of this, all the things that I carry I'm going to talk about. I'm very ignorant on, or unknowledgeable on what they're advertising the United States. So I'll never forget when somebody was making a joke about Viagra. And I went home in the United States and somebody made a joke about Viagra, and I said, "Well, this is a medicine." And she goes, "Andy, this isn't a medicine. How long you been out of the country?" I said, 2 years. She goes, "That's not what they're using it for." I go, "Oh." I don't understand all the little nuances of advertising. I have no idea what's going on Apple new releases, things like that. I don't know. I don't watch local TV. And when I'm in Indiana, I can watch local TV, and it gives me an understanding of a whole bunch of world issues that I don't understand. It's very difficult to understand what's going on in the world by the internet. You can do it much better with newspapers. In the United States, excuse me. Plus, you have billboards, right? Billboards are very educational. You don't think they think, but it's what we buy that makes these are the things we buy are the tools, okay? Store ads, whatever. I was watching a thing about generation, what do they call it? Generation Z? Yeah, the Generation Z. They are in trouble, okay? But I make TikTok size videos. I put them on shorts on YouTube, and I put them on specifically for the people that just to give something to the people that are not capable of concentrating longer than a minute. And that's 99%. Most people will start this video, they'll get 1 minute in, and they'll go switch around. Very few people watch the whole videos. It's too difficult. That's one reason I'm making them longer and they're going to be more talkative, is that you can watch them at work. But I have a research center, and I'm going to explain all the things that I carry with me to set up a research center around the planet. The last thing I'll ever do, though, is multitask. Multitasking is incredibly difficult on the brain. It's switch. It's like trying to translate Spanish in your head to English when you first start learning a language. This is very hard on the brain, and people don't understand it. That switching between thinking about what you're listening to and doing something at the same time, it is not a healthy thing to do. But I need to rush. No risk, no rush. Into the danger zone. That's what they said in the Maverick in Top Gun. I've been researching. I would say I have a PhD level of education on travel. And there is no, as far as I know, nobody's offering PhDs in travel skills. They're offering, maybe they might offer PhD in hospitality industry, which is how to maintain and keep up a hotel or something like that. But for 23 years, 10 months, I had a business that was location independent that we started completely remote. I ran this for 23 years and 10 months. We had no office. A lot of you want to get rid of your office. So I'm going to talk about a lot of tools to get rid of the home office. One of the premises, though, is that I always go by is I have to be able to have somebody come into my room, steal absolutely everything I own, and stay in business. When I say stay in business, to keep all my research information. I don't want to lose everything that I've done for years. The only thing I carry on to me I carry two 500 gigs little thumb drives that I can put in my secret pockets. They're a copy of each other. I'm getting another one. Kit comes down in February 3rd. I'm going to put all my movies on there. So I have 2 copies of 500 gigs of information, and then a 500 gigs worth of self-entertaining films. I want to do everything open source. Now that's me. You don't have to do it, but open source means I share all my databases and I make them available to anybody because, in my opinion, the way to do research is to get new ideas. And the only way to get new ideas is to share the information and allow the people the chance to steal it. Yes, they'll keep their mouth closed and try to steal information. That is okay. I do not care if you know what I'm working on. Why? Because part of peer review in a PhD dissertation or something is that a lot of experiments and tests and research, original research, has to handle the scrutiny of your colleagues in a way. I'll never forget Goldstein Realty in Fort Wayne, Indiana. She was this one lady that worked for Goldstein would come over to my office and ask about how to do advertising and stuff. And she goes, "Why do you talk about this stuff with me?" I said, "Well, it's kind of humorous to me. Your real estate office is like, I don't know, 50 times bigger than me. And you're coming over here to things." She goes, "But why are you willing to explain this?" I said, "You're not competition." I said, "I have never had competition in my life. I have never felt like somebody was going to do better than me at what I do. Nobody is competition. And I don't try to compete. I have a lot of people, though, when we start talking about travel or real estate or sex or anything I do, they want to compete. And I'm actually going to get a business card that says, before you start talking about real estate, travel, exercise, or the internet, hand me $10 and I'll talk about it for 10 minutes with you. I'm going to make that. I'm not joking because I want them to realize I don't have any desire to talk about real estate, exercise, internet, or travel with a layman. It's like mining. It's a waste of time because generally they want me to listen. It's not a dialogue. They want me to listen to what they've done. That's not, and especially travel. It's just like, well, I went and looked at this. I went and looked at that. I went and looked at that. I don't try to be the world's greatest tourist. That is not what I am. I'm the world's greatest experience on travel skills on how to live comfortably, travel around the world. But I put this on my thing. I can save business travelers billions of dollars. Okay, when a business traveler gets in a plane and they send them over to India to collect information on some sort of product they're doing and stuff, these people are completely blindsided. They have no skill sets to do it. And these are the skill sets that I'm going to talk about today. How to stay in business, what you need when you need more than a billfold, more than a briefcase. And if you are going to send one of your executives abroad for like 3 months or whatever, you might try sending him just 50 miles away and have him work independently and see if he can do that, because there's so much lost energy because they're just not emotionally ready for this kind of stuff. But I could talk for hours on how to prep a person to do business in other countries, because in essence, that's what I do. But my data is not on the computer. I don't keep anything on my laptop. I used to, but I went to a completely independent system where I have 500 gig chips, and that I can store real easy. And if they steal my 2 computers, I'm okay. Researchers, but how do you know? Like, I've had a lot of freelancers working for me, but researchers, how to identify a researcher? A researcher is always ready to collect data. So they're going to be able to take notes. So you can write something down. They can collect a phone number. They can take a picture. They can make a video. They can document everything that's happening. That's a researcher. And they do it on such a regular basis. They then have the next system on how to file it. So I have, like, somebody was talking to me about Excel yesterday, and he says, "You can do Excel." And I go, "Yeah." And I used to use Excel and Microsoft. I loved Microsoft Works. I still have, like, I don't know, 400 Microsoft Works databases. And I always wanted to get them converted to, I don't know, Excel. I mean, eventually the program's not going to be working. I got a little Works program on my computer, but eventually it's not going to work, right? They no longer have this program. But most anything I do right now, I use Google Docs and Google Sheets because it goes up into what you guys like to call the cloud. And then if I get robbed, I don't lose anything. Like I'm reading something right now from the cloud, but you can read it offline and online. There's two different ways to do it. But what does a researcher do? They're collecting notes, and they're trying to collect mines. You're going to mine data. I mean, like digging for gold, right? So you're digging for the one thought that changes everything. And the problem with being a miner and searching for gold is you have to go through a lot of information. The smartest people on the planet, especially on travel, I always give my phone number and I always give my email address because I know that essentially 1 in 50 people that contact me could be the best person in the world. I'll never forget. I stopped at Warren Buffett's office and I went into the building and I thought there would be like a secretary or somebody that would ask information, take down my phone number. There was nothing. And I said, you would think a man that is this intelligent would have a battery of different people that, how do you call up Warren Buffett and contact? There could be a guy in Sweden that's in the United States that walks into his office and he's worth $1 billion and you have no way to break through their system, right? And this is interesting to me that the bigger, in a way they should have an organization in my mind to filter out all the different people. Now, don't get me wrong, the people working for him are not even slightly as smart as him. And most secretaries are just anal. They don't want anybody to ask questions because it just makes work for them. But you need a secretary that wants to talk to everybody. But these are tools I'm going to show you. I won't be held hostage by anything. I won't be held hostage by my computer. I won't be held hostage by a program that I need. I won't buy gear that I can't really replace in almost anywhere on the planet. That's a big deal if you're going to have a nomad mobile research center. You can't, like the Apple computer is worthless, okay? The Apple phone is worthless. It only works in, I don't know, maybe 60 countries. And then you can't get it repaired, and then the cost of getting repaired, nobody knows how to work on it. Everybody is working on an Android phone or a PC computer, and you can always find somebody to help you. You can always find your smart people. A grant, to me, is an interesting thing. A lot of researchers, without a class, and I'm going to talk now a little bit about how to get a PhD, okay? Because this is really what I'm working my way to doing, is how to grant somebody. I would like to be able to give people a PhD in travel because I don't truly know anybody on the planet that has more travel skills than me. But a grant is what most researchers only are going to do the research if they get the money, okay? And then they're only going to publish because they got to keep their job, okay? And a research university is a place that does original research. And a lot of these dissertations, everything are just another, I was watching Elon Musk talk about it. He says, it's just paper. He says 99% of dissertations are not really worth anything. And I agree. But capable of doing research, grants. I really think that every organization needs an inquiry handling system that tries to find highly intelligent people. I'll say that again. You need to be able to have a way for highly intelligent people to talk with you. I'm going to start doing what would I do if I had a grant? What would I do with it? I would, first of all, you can get grants. All you got to do is pay about $5,000, and there's guys that you can pay, and they'll fill out all the paperwork for about $5,000 to get you a $100,000 grant or a $10 million grant or whatever you want. But you got to have a good story and a good situation, and it's got to be thing. But these grant writers, that's what they do. They know how to sing a song to the people that give grants. But right now, I'm actually paying a lady. If I had $10,000 or $500,000, what would I do? I would get a public relations person that arranges me interviews with the smartest people on the planet having to do with travel. Okay, I'm doing it right now. I'm paying her $100 a person to arrange people that have written books about Henry David Thoreau, because I'm writing a book about it. But the big cost on my mobile office can move to Sweden. I'll give an example. My nephew has bad eyes, and they just did an eye transplant, a whole eye transplant. And I'm constantly trying to figure out where I could go if they did a breakthrough, where the eye got transferred. You know, they did a transplant. I would go right there and live for about 2 or 3 months until I could help my nephews. I got 3 or 4 of them that with really bad eyes to replace their eyes. And I can do that. I can go there, I can collect information, I can basically schmooze my way into getting all the possible information to get him at the head of the list, so that when they actually do an actual eye transplant that works. They already did one. They just did it. I called him up and told him, hey, they did an full eye transplant. But you need to pay for the hotels. You need to pay for the flights to do this kind of thing, right? But a lot of the knowledge centers, I just realized that James Michener has a writers in Austin, Texas. I've been to Austin, Texas. If I would have known this, I would have done it. Would have been there. James Michener, one of the greatest writers of all time on historical travel novels, has a writing center or something to do with him in Austin, Texas. There's also one in Iowa. It's more on literature. But I need to pay for the hotels to go there, right? And what would I do at us? I would probably pay for the monthly AI, $20. I pay for the monthly Wall Street Journal. I pay for monthly Grammarly. The big advantage of money is that you can fumble around and you can hire freelancer or gig workers to do data collection. And because a lot of doing original research is data collection. So I would like to pay somebody to scour the planet to find everybody that's ever been to 100 plus countries. Because if I'm going to say the words, I'm the world's most experienced traveler, it's possible. There's hundreds and hundreds of people that have gone to 100 countries. There's not many that have lived abroad at the same time for 25 years going to 100 countries. There's people that have a base where they go to. The bottom line, the minute that you rent a place by the month and pay 6-month lease or year lease, you buy a house, you're not even close to me, okay? I would never consider owning a house, because what would I do with it? I'd never be there. But if I had a lot of money, I'd hire a freelancer, proofreaders, copyeditors. But what does a researcher need? They need time. So do you want to do some research? You want to collect and you want to write a book. Why am I traveling for 25 years? I can live in a room right here. I'm living in paradise on one of the world's most beautiful lakes in one of the greatest climates on the planet, while you guys are freezing your butts off in the United States. It's January 2024. But I got time, because if I only have to pay $10 a night for a room, I'm actually paying $7 a night for a room. That means I only have to work like 1 day a week in a way if I had a job. And what's special about me on my travels is I figured out how to earn money for 25 years remotely. And this is the hard thing. A lot of retired people could go be a professional travelers. A few graphic designers, I mean, the best way to make money is to be a graphics designer, then work for a company inside the United States, but you can travel the world being a graphics designer if you're good at it. But I bought time by living here. So I leveraged the arbitrage of the difference in the cost of living here and the cost of living in the United States. And that gave me the time for 25 years to become one of the world's greatest travelers. Travel skills. Travel skills are not about tourism. They're not about all the tourist attractions on Lake Athlone. That's just anal stupid shit. Okay, easy stuff to figure out. Most people don't even do that very good. Right now, the Z generation, they are so connected to the phone. They buy. Everybody's going on tours here that have nothing to do with the culture of Guatemala. It's amazing. But I bought time. But the genius comes in doing mobile research is the capability of filing something and retrieving it. I never try to remember anything. I remember a lot, but I don't try to. I try to remember the system on how I file things. And that's what research is about. Apple is the worst possible system to do global research. You will not be able to get a Apple computer fixed in a lot of places. It's just a Charlie Foxtrot. That's military slang, guys. But if I can go to Africa. I can go off grid. I can live in the bush for 5 days with no electricity. But I've been reading a lot about PhDs. It's a doctor of philosophy. Kind of funny. I was a philosophy major. But the PhD is the last thing I consider most people with a PhD a doctor in philosophy, right? But I don't believe there's 5% of the population that doesn't need to go to university. They don't need anything. 5% of people they don't need to be told by a teacher the strategy to write a book. They don't need to be learned. They can actually create their own strategies. 5% of the population. That's it. Those are the percentage according to the U.S. military that can spontaneously create a strategy. And that can make you an autodidact. An autodidact is a self-taught person. I'm self-taught. Okay, I taught myself really mostly Spanish and French. And even though I took a class in college, it was worthless. I mean, most classes I've never had any use for teachers, okay? I consider a teacher just an annoying person that makes me go slow, okay? But 5% of you can have a mobile office anywhere on the planet. But if you need a teacher to tell you how to do a dissertation, if you need a teacher to teach you, if you need somebody to instruct you how to go through the strategies of learning, can't do it. But I'm going to tell you today the tools that I carry, the hardware. I mean, the briefcase type stuff, the backpack, the pens and papers, everything I get. But you have to be a natural at strategies. And only 5% of the humans can do this. So 5% of the humans can go live anywhere, write a book anywhere. And James Michener was one of the kings of this. He wrote a book called The World is My Home. And he wrote dozens of books in different places. He'd go do the research on the spot. But I want a PhD in travel. I'm going to figure out how to go about trying to, because people are losing billions of dollars because of like Airbnb and Booking.com and Kayak. These guys are bending you over the table, okay? They are taking advantage of you. I want to prove that I have knowledge skills that are travel skills that could help the world if I had the degree. Okay, the way like to go. I went to a Wikipedia conference. I was invited to Harvard to talk to the Bloggers Club after I went to Iraq, and then one of the gentlemen at the Harvard Bloggers Club invited me to come to Frankfurt, Germany to go to the Wikipedia conference. I went over there. And Wikipedia, the more I research, see, Wikipedia, the only way you can get in Wikipedia is if they really decide that you cannot make a Wikipedia page for yourself that easy. Some people do, but they don't consider, for example, they don't consider that me traveling nonstop for 114 countries, writing 15,000 blog posts, making 5,000 videos, living abroad for 25 years, a value. Why is it not a value? It's because CNN has not said I did that, okay? When CNN says I did that, when Joe Rogan says I did that, when 5 big companies said I did what I did, it's indirectly how they get their citations and references. I can't just say I did it, okay? Which is really kind of silly in a way. Wonder what's going on with my life. We got absolutely nobody on live. I would say most travelers are brain dead. No, the long-term travelers, the ones that go to 100 countries, the really great travelers are very, very intelligent. How to earn a PhD. But to earn a PhD, these are the requirements to get a PhD. Several years of rigorous academic study. I've done that, easy. Classes are for people that cannot create a strategy. Research, this is extremely valuable, and that's what I'm talking about today, how to actually do research. Original dissertation. Like Elon Musk, you can actually, there's people that pay. I remember this guy from Cork, Ireland. He got jobs with from the Saudi Arabian guys he'd get $50,000 to write a dissertation, and a lot of these oil-rich people are paying to have their dissertations written. Okay, I'm going to add that to get a PhD, you should write books. They don't require that to get a PhD. I think you should give speeches to get a thing. You should be able to give speeches. I've made videos 5,000 times. I've written 5 books. These are the actual steps to getting a PhD. You choose a field of study, obtain a bachelor degree, complete a master degree, research programs in universities. Number 4, prepare and submit an application, gain admission, coursework, qualifying comprehensive exams, proposal and research. And see, I skipped all that, just did the proposal and research. I wrote the books, the defending it is why I make everything open source. Okay, in a way, I do think that a great idea should be able to handle the cancel culture and graduation. You can obviously selling paper, The Paper Chase was a great movie about somebody in Harvard chasing the paper to get the diploma. Unfortunately, the Ivy League schools basically sell their diplomas. I remember I was in Mumbai, they got big signs for Harvard, go to Harvard. So what they're doing is they're always trying to suck in the incredibly rich people that want to pay to get a degree from Harvard. It's a business, guys. It's not. I would highly recommend you don't go to any Ivy League school, except for maybe Stanford. They got a lot of they got the Hoover Institution there, and it has just really some great stuff. Okay, I'm now going to start talking about the tools that I have to carry to have a mobile office. But you got software. There are applications, computer programs, you got all sorts of soft stuff that you can kind of get anywhere. But you have to accumulate certain things that you buy. But without the smartphone, the apps don't matter, right? I got a great big list of soft stuff here. Um, I want everybody to focus on collecting data is about being able to file stuff. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I don't know how many databases I got. It's probably at least 300 or 400 at least. Okay, but the tools. Okay, I'm skipping a bunch of this stuff. Hard items you buy. I can move my Nomad Research Center into the bush. That is African slang for I can go to the bush. Bush means out of the city where there's probably no electricity. I do have to go to stocking up cities. Stocking up cities like Bangkok, Thailand. I can buy a lot of stuff. Actually, San Jose, Costa Rica has an office supply place. It's really nice to have these office supply stuff because there's certain things that are very difficult to buy. I buy all my computers in the USA. It's just, I have 2 computers, so I carry 2 laptops. I'll show you my laptop sitting right here. Okay, and I have 2 of these. They cost me $225 at Hewlett Packard if I lose them. At Best Buy. And there's a Hewlett Packard thing, and I keep all my memory on a chip. And I store most of the information on the internet, like a cloud, right? But I have to do things like buy and pick up when I go through places. So when you do this research and you're setting up your mobile office, what you're going to find is that you're going to land in New York City. Hopefully you have 2 days and you can go pick up stuff. I'm realizing that Amazon now has pickup boxes. I could have products delivered to a pickup box in whichever city I transit in. If I wanted to spend 1 day in the United States or even 10 hours in transit, I probably could go pick up a bunch of products and then boom, leave again. I buy things from Amazon, eBay, Best Buys, and Walmart online, and when I go home, boom, I pick them up and I leave. I have hotels that hold stuff. Places where I return often, like I sometimes leave certain items. When I first went traveling in Pia de la Cuesta, Mexico, there was a guy that really old guy. He left all his clothes with his friend of mine. What was his name? Christian or something. And the guy came and he didn't travel with any packages. He had nothing. He just had his clothing. And he had clothing in I think about 6 different places on the planet. But now I'm going to tell you the things that I actually carry that I need. I carry a plastic container, a bucket. It's kind of a rectangular one. I use this to store stuff in, and it protects the items inside of my backpack that are delicate. There's things that I have gear that is delicate. Computers. But these are things that you also have inside the United States. It's not just mobile, but a pen holder. I have a Canon camera to take there's times when you need a zoom that could go out, I don't have this zoom, but it's really great to have a zoom that you can get somebody probably 100 yards away up close because you're doing research. You need a camera tripod, a stand-up one. You need one full-size height, and you need one that's just like right now what I'm using to put on the table. You need a chair in your office, right? You need a backpack to carry a lot of this stuff. You need battery backups. Battery backpacks. I'm always laughing when we have a outage here and everybody's just crying the blues. And they go, why don't you cry? I got 3 battery backups and I just sit there and use my phone and watch a movie or do whatever. The internet doesn't go off. The cell phone tower internet does not go off just because the electricity on the grid is down. I don't know if you know that, but they have their own power generators that keep these up almost everywhere on the planet. Normal office would have bookshelves. a briefcase, I have clothespins. Clothespins are very good at tying things together. Like I take cables and I hook them together with my clothespin. Clothespins, or I take safety pins. You have to be mobile. You have to have shower equipment to be able to take a shower. That's why I got the bucket and immersion heater. I got cooking equipment so I can go to the bush. I have a computer laptops. I have two of them. You have to have a desk, which is normally the table in the room. So when I walk into a correct hotel room, it has one or two chairs and a table. Without that, it's not a complete room. My room has right now at $200 a month has a desk, electrical cords. You need extension cords to do different things, to have different equipment. Biggest problem right now is I'm really going to a lot of equipment that's USB charging. Like I bought a fan that charges with the USB. It runs by plugging it into a USB port. I got a electrical cord splitter. You plug it in and it's got two of the ends of like an extension cord on it. I got 6 different plugs converting, and this allows for all these big clunky. There's really these big clunky converters. It's a 210 110 converter. When you got that little black thing that you put in the wall, all phones and computers are 110 220. You don't have to worry about converters, inverters, anything like that. The black box on your computer cord it converts 210 or 220 110 electricity to 19 volts for the computer, and that little thing that for your cell phone charger converts it to like 5 volts. Okay, but I got electrical cord splitter. They often call them octopus splitters. I would normally, inside the United States, I would have a plastic filing boxes on different subjects to collect paper. Paper is very, very helpful if you're doing research. I don't really carry any paper. I have a focus wall board where I put things up on the wall on different topics. So I'm doing like Sherlock Holmes in the show Elementary. He's got all these different things on the wall, and he's studying them and he's looking at it. He's getting a visual. I constantly, for doing research, get a visual. I have a magnifying camera that I used to carry. I'm going to try to buy another one. I'm planning on going to Tanzania and being gone for about 2 or 3 years. I don't have much money anymore because my business, I had to close it down because of COVID-19. We were doing really good, and COVID-19 just killed international travel. It's down 80%. Okay, I have reminders system like Post-it pads, and I take 8.5 sheets of paper and I put it on my wall, and I put it in plastic, and I have them on my wall to have different memory tickler systems. I always carry index cards. I have been carrying index. I don't know when I started doing this. Probably when I was 21. I always have index cards so I can write down. I always have a pen because sometimes you just need to write. Like often when I'm making a video, I'll be taking notes on a piece of paper so I can easily come back to a subject. That's really hard to do with a smartphone. Lanyards. The lanyard is the thing you put around your neck that you can hang things. I have a light that I clip on the back of my bed, and it's got an extension cord on it. It's got about, I don't know, it's like 5 meters long. It's about 15 feet long, 20 feet. It'll go all the way across a normal room, okay, and create 3 places to plug in things, plus give me a light, because lighting is horrible in most hotels, even the 5-star hotels. They're just not set up to do intensive study or reading or research. I got a marker on the screen. I always put things on the wall that I hang a marker on there, so there's always a way for me I have a quick access to a pen, and I never lose that pen. I got a need for speed. I have a mosquito net so I can go to the bush. I have a full-size mosquito net in my room right now, and I carried one with I had a really, really great one. I had put in a compression bag. It had a floor in it, had a doorway, and I'll probably put a floor on the bottom of this one and put a doorway because I'm going back to the way I traveled 10 years ago. Before some reason I bought into this idea that I should buy things on arrival, and it was the wrong move. Now I'm always going to check a bag. I have a paper white Kindle. That means a paper white is a book service. It's a type of Kindle that I can read in the direct sunlight. You cannot read this type of phone with a backlit or a backlit Kindle. You can't read them in direct sunlight. They really need to have computers which have the paper white thing. I think the military has it. If I was really wealthy, I would have a computer that I could put in direct sunlight. Power banks. That's what you need, these little 5,000 ohm. You don't want big ones. You don't want 30,000. They'll take them at the airports, okay? Somehow it'd be really nice to have, my friend Johnny had a power bank backup for a computer, and I don't know how to put these on the planes. They're like something that can power a bomb. In a way, it'd be better to go to a solar system. I've had I paid $400 one time to have all this solar stuff purchased for mobile, and none of it worked. They didn't have diodes. None of it worked. Most of this stuff is just crap. But they're children that go in and buy gear, right? And there's people like me that just keep trying to buy stuff until you hope something works. Most solar systems suck. Why does a solar system suck in a hotel? I have to put the solar panel about, 40, 50 feet away outside, and then have the wire go all the way back to the room. Or they want to have real short ones to charge your phone and allow your phone to get stolen, okay? I really want a solar system to charge my battery that would have a I was creating one. What you got to do is convert the electricity to 19 volt. You got to make sure you don't destroy your computer, right? I have a poncho for rain, and I use those for tents. I have safety pins. I have 2 smartphones. I actually have 5 smartphones with me because I have my best phone I ever had was a Niami. I don't know. I think that's right. Niami. Well, it's like a Ukraine-Russian one. USB wires. I always have like 10 headsets, and I got an extension cord for my headset, so it gives me another meter's distance from my computer, so I can listen, because you really need to listen to your computer at night. You can't stay up working. Sometimes I have to call people it's really tough to call people at 3 o'clock in the morning that's working in Ukraine, or somebody's working in Thailand or the Philippines, and I need to contact them because we are in different time zones. I'll never forget this one company. It was supposedly that guy from the established Twitter started it, and he's in the Wikipedia page. He said, "We even have people that live in different time zones." I about cracked up because I've always had people that were in different time zones working for me for 25 years. A whiteboard marker. A whiteboard is one of these things you write on. And I often have a little one, and I have the markers because sometimes I want to show something. Right here in this place where I'm at right now has a big conference area with a big, huge whiteboard. Tablets. I have different paper tablets, and I'm always buying tablets. Sometimes I have to buy tablets and fold up the paper because they don't have index cards. I'm a very big on taking notes, and I would love to be able to read all my books in paper. Really difficult. I did finally today figure out how to use my FB reader and have all the bookmarks transferred to my computer where I can print them out. And anybody that's doing research, you're reading books on smartphones or you read them on tablets or whatever, you need to have that information in a way that you could print it out or you could manipulate the data, right? So you can put it in a database, you can put it and access it by search. You can't really do a search inside a paper book. That's the reason why digital data is good. It's a search. You can do searches and you can do sorts. But we'll talk about that again. Uh, These are the things that you need for a mobile, a Nomad mobile research center. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham, and I do massive amounts of research. Massive. It's unbelievable how many different ways I have to tap into information. And I'm putting together a complete Google Sheets database, and it's accessible from the database that talks about the videos I'm making. And it's always, everything about research is a summation, it's a growing, right? So the growing body of knowledge where you can have data, information, knowledge, and you can access it and retrieve it, and then you can put it together. One great thing about AI, you can sit there and say, take all this data and make it into a cogent, clear paragraph. It does a pretty good job. Then you just kind of rewrite it until you get it perfect. It does some of the hard lifting that used to be I had to pay people to do. Sorting through data, scraping and stuff is really time consuming. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not? Trine University. Know why I got that on my chest? I love to go to Trine University because they got the best $8 breakfast on the planet. All you can eat. They got lunch for like $11. Angola, Indiana. If you're in Angola, Indiana, stop into the university and you can walk in there and you can pay. This is all you can eat, salad bar, blah, 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 pizza, anything you want. It's an amazing, great deal. Thank you, Trine. Thank you for transitioning to an even higher level. It used to be Tri-State College. Now they're trying. They are kicking ass and taking names. I'm in the Hotel Tepupulkan. I'll be here till February 25th, probably, 2024. My sister's coming down. But then I'm trying to get prepped. Right now I'm prepping to go to Tanzania for 2 years and continue writing books and doing research and publishing. I was really happy that I wrote 2 books recently. They're not really big deal ones, but this one's called Travel, which is all my travel photos. It's not really writing a book. And I wrote a pocket guide to meeting new people, and I had never seen the actual hard copies until somebody brought them down. Okay, hit the subscribe button if you want to become location independent, work anywhere. And please don't call yourself a digital nomad around me. I really hate that name. It's so, the people that are calling themselves digital nomads, they're dumb.